Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I'm Alden, 39, an IT project manager who has lived most of his life believing that relationships fall apart quietly, not in explosions. But the night my wife, Marlo, went to a nightclub and told me, "Don't like it? Divorce me," I realized that sometimes the breaking point doesn't creep. It slams into you with a force you can't ignore. Marlo and I have been married for 8 years. She's 33, warm-spirited in public, sharp-tongued at home, and recently increasingly restless. I first noticed the shift around 6 months ago. She started staying late at work, lingering in the parking lot on video calls, scrolling girls' nights, content on Instagram with a wistful expression she never used to have. We drifted not out of disaster but out of small, accumulating silences. Missed dinners, half-hearted kisses, distracted conversations. Still, despite the emotional distance, I believed we were stable. Or at least reparable. That night started like any other Thursday. I came home from work, dropped my keys into the ceramic bowl by the door, and smelled the faint citrus candle she always lit after cleaning. But the house was quiet. No sign of Marlo in the living room or kitchen. When I walked toward the bedroom, I found her standing in front of the mirror, curling her hair and wearing a black satin dress I hadn't seen before. Shorter, tighter, and far more revealing than anything she usually chose. "Going out tonight?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She didn't look at me, just applied another layer of gloss. "Yeah, Sienna and Amara are dragging me to this new club downtown. Supposedly great music, great drinks, all that." I nodded. "You didn't mention that earlier." She shrugged. "Didn't think it mattered." That stung. More than I wanted to admit. "You're heading to a nightclub," I said gently. "It would have been nice to know." This time she met my eyes in the mirror, and something cold flickered there. "Alden, I'm not asking for permission. I'm not giving rules," I replied. "Just wanting transparency." She let out a short laugh, sharp, dismissive. "If you're going to get insecure, just say it. Honestly, you're so uptight lately. I'm going out. End of story." That's not what I began, but she cut me off. "Don't like it? Then divorce me." She said it with a smirk, like the sentence was a joke she assumed I wouldn't take seriously. The kind of threat people use when they're sure the other person won't call their bluff. But I didn't answer. I just looked at her, really looked at her, and felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not jealousy, but a quiet, grounding clarity. She grabbed her clutch, kissed the air instead of my cheek, and walked out. The door closed behind her with a softness that somehow felt louder than a slam. I stood in the hallway for a moment, letting the words replay. "Don't like it? Divorce me." The thing about threats is that they reveal what someone thinks you won't do. And the thing about silence is that sometimes it says everything. I went to the living room, sat on the couch, and pulled up her location. Not because I wanted to monitor her, but because I'd enabled it years ago after she insisted it made her feel safer. It showed her heading toward a club called the Violet Lantern, a neon-lit place known for DJs, expensive cocktails, and a reputation for anything goes after midnight. I wasn't going to follow her. That wasn't who I was. Instead, I opened the group chat with her brother, Rowan. He's always been level-headed, the kind of guy who doesn't meddle but also doesn't ignore red flags. I typed a single message. "Can you call me when you're free? Something happened with Marlo." He responded instantly, "5 minutes." While waiting, I walked to our bedroom. Her makeup brushes were scattered on the vanity, a perfume bottle tipped on its side, a pair of heels thrown on the floor. It looked like the aftermath of someone running from themselves rather than running toward fun. When my phone rang, I answered immediately. "What's going on?" Rowan asked. I explained it briefly. Her outfit, the sudden nightclub plan, her dismissive tone, and finally, the sentence that wouldn't leave my mind. He was silent for a moment. Then, "You know she doesn't mean that." "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe she means it more than she wants to admit." "What are you thinking?" he asked quietly. "Nothing dramatic," I replied. "Just something honest." And that's when the idea came to me. Not out of spite, not out of pride, but out of the realization that you can't keep fighting for a marriage with someone who casually throws the word divorce into the air like confetti. I took a breath, typed a message, and hit send. A message that made her come running home in less than 3 minutes. The message I sent Marlo was only 5 words long. I'll respect your decision fully. No accusations. No begging. No fight. Just clarity. Within seconds, the message showed, delivered. Then, read. I set my phone face down on the table and walked into the kitchen. I poured myself a glass of water, leaned against the counter, and let the silence settle. I wasn't hoping she'd panic. I wasn't trying to manipulate her. I just decided that if she wanted a life without accountability, she could have it, but without the safety net of a husband she took for granted. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed violently on the counter. Then again, and again. I didn't rush to check. Instead, I let the notifications stack like unanswered questions. Finally, I glanced at the screen. 6 missed calls. 4 messages. 1 voicemail. The most recent text from her read, "What does that mean? Answer me." Then, "Alden?" And then the one that told me everything. "I'm coming home." Location check confirmed it. Her dot was moving away from the violet lantern. Fast. I went to the living room and sat down, not angry, not triumphant, just steady. When the front door opened 3 minutes later, she rushed in, breathless. Her hair slightly messy from the wind, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor like frantic punctuation. "Alden," she said sharply. What was that message supposed to mean? I met her eyes. Exactly what it said. She took a step closer, her voice rising with panic. "You can't just say something like that. Why didn't you answer when I called?" "Because," I said calmly, "you told me what you wanted. I simply let you know I heard you." "That's not what I meant," she snapped. "It was a figure of speech." "No," I replied gently. "It wasn't. People don't use divorce as a punchline unless they've thought about it." She stared at me, unsure whether to argue or retreat. "I wasn't serious," she said quietly. I don't know. I was frustrated. "And so was I said. "But I didn't throw nukes to win an argument." She sank onto the couch, her expression softening. "Alden, you scared me." I nodded. "And you dismissed me." For the first time in months, she looked genuinely lost. "I didn't think you'd take it that way." "That's the thing," I said. "You didn't think. You assumed I'd always be here, no matter what you said, no matter how you spoke to me. You assumed my silence meant I'd never reach my limit." She bit her lower lip, suddenly unsure. "So what now? Are you really considering divorce?" "No," I said. "I'm considering honesty." She blinked at me. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm done arguing about respect. If you want to go out, fine. If you want freedom, fine. If you're overwhelmed or unhappy, talk to me. But if your solution is to throw around divorce like a get-out-of-responsibility card, then yes, I will take you at your word." She went quiet. The house felt different, like the air itself was waiting. Slowly, she removed her earrings, setting them on the table with a soft clink. "I shouldn't have said it," she whispered. "I was trying to sound confident, like I wasn't doing something wrong." "You weren't doing something wrong by going out," I said. "You were doing something wrong by treating me like I'm disposable." Her eyes lifted, glassy. "I didn't realize how far apart we'd gotten." "I did," I said. "I just thought we could close the gap." She exhaled shakily, then came to sit beside me, carefully, like she was approaching a cliff edge. "Alden, I don't want to lose you." "You won't," I answered. "As long as you stop daring me to walk away." Her shoulders dropped, relief and guilt mixing on her face. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "For the dress comment, for the tone, for throwing divorce like it was nothing. I shouldn't have put that on you." I nodded but didn't rush to comfort her. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because respect rebuilt too quickly becomes respect that doesn't last. She reached for my hand. "I'll tell you something honestly," she said. When I saw your message, I felt this drop in my stomach, like you were finally done with me. And it scared me because I know I haven't been fair. I know I've been restless. But I didn't realize I was pushing you away on purpose. Why? I asked softly. Her voice cracked. Because I felt like I was losing myself. Not you, myself. And instead of talking to you, I tried to distract myself with stupid things. Nights out. New people. Tension. I wasn't cheating, but I was running. And that's on me. For the first time that night, my voice softened. You don't have to run from me. She moved closer, resting her forehead against my shoulder. Then stay with me, and don't respect my stupid decisions. Challenge them. I let out a slow breath. I will, but you need to challenge your own too. She nodded against me, fingers tightening around my hand. I will, Alden. I promise. The house felt warmer again, not fixed, not perfect, but honest. And sometimes clarity is the real turning point. Not a fight, not a threat, just the moment you realize that silence isn't surrender. It's a decision.